Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Aquarius. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. That is exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading, what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. So we're going to be pulling some cards here first. We're going to be taking a look at your energy, Aquarius. We're going to be looking at the area of focus that your soul is highlighting, and then we'll dive into the message, taking a look at a block or a challenge around that area, advice from Spirit as to how to overcome it, and then a level of abundance or a level of physical abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in for you. All right. So Aquarius, happy birthday, by the way. I'm filming this right in the middle of your season. I have a lot of Aquariuses in my life, and my brother is one of them. And I hope you are all enjoying your birthday season here. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. Now, the energy that you're sitting with currently, Aquarius, is strength. Now, the strength card really represents two things. Yes, it can represent the more, I'd say, overt meaning of courage, which is being strong, being able to have that kind of lion-hearted Leo courage to face challenges. But there's the more subtle meaning of this strength as well, or of this card as well, in that, as you can see here, it's the angel closing the mouth of the lion, and there's a sense of understanding of that we each have a lion or a beast within ourselves. And we, over time, learn how to navigate and tame that beast within. That's the true strength, that being able to find grace as we evolve, to not just let that inner beast come out and maul someone because we are unable to have that ability to maybe hold our tongue when it's appropriate, or to maybe let something be. It can also be where we learn not only to have that internal grace, or the grace under fire, and learning to tame the beast, but it can also be the strength as well to understand how to work with that inner beast to our benefit. So I'll dive a little deeper into that as we start to come into your reading here. Now, Page of Swords is what your soul is highlighting for you right now, which I love, because the Page of Swords is the curious individual. This is someone who is getting to that place of almost wiping the slate clean as to what they've known up to this point. And they are sitting in a place of, I like to look at it as a more positive element of self-reflection, of looking at what have I not been aware of at this point, or what do I really need to know? And there's a curiosity to it, there's a freshness, there's a wanting to gather more information. And it's a beautiful energy, but it's one that can be very difficult sometimes. It's one where we can get to a place in our life where we feel like we've seen everything, done everything, we know everything. And to be able to kind of take that momentary pause to step back and say, I'm going to get into a beginner's mindset. What's out there for me? What am I missing? Or what am I going to learn in this next cycle? Because underneath that, your main underlying energy is the Page of Wands, which is beautiful because there's a sense here with the two pages coming in of a freshness, a childlike energy, a maybe getting back to basics and trying new things even. The Page of Wands is the individual, it's the child at play. It's someone who wants to go out and just play with what they love. There's no real, with the pages, there's no real, how can I say it? There's no real planning. It's not going to be highly structured. There's a sense of just almost having that place of, or that feeling of awe come back into your life of, wow, I love doing this. I forgot I love to do this. Or, wow, I can't believe I never noticed that before. There's that kind of sense coming through with these two pages. Now, underneath that, we have the Eight of Swords and we have the Emperor. For some of you, there may be a feeling that there is someone in your life either controlling you and that you really don't see how to get past that with the Eight of Swords, to be able to get to the Page of Wands energy. Or there could be somebody kind of almost pulling the strings. For some of you, depending on how old you are, this could actually be a parental figure. This could be a boss, the emperor, someone that you have to work under in a workplace. It could also just be someone who you feel holds more authority than you in your own life. Or there can also be a sense of not feeling like you are the one who has the authority in your own life, with the Eight of Swords coming in. Because the Eight of Swords is really feeling stuck. It's not being able to see a way forward. And it can often be, I like to look at it as a mental programming issue, where we kind of have to go back and realize where we've talked ourselves out of seeing a way forward. We've told ourselves we can't go in that direction, or we can't try that, or we can't go there. So there's kind of a learning curve here of almost saying, okay, wait a second, I've gone a little too far into the maze. I keep coming back to the same spot. Now let me use the energy of the Page of Swords to kind of, let's take a beat. Let's kind of pull back a little bit and really think about maybe why I've only kept in going through this maze, making the same turn over and over again to get me back to the same conclusion or to the same place. And there can also be here for some of you where, yes, it could be a person who's kind of keeping you in this place. It could be a manager who won't let you look in a new direction and work. It could be, even a significant other who is not curious to kind of opening themselves up to maybe a new phase in the relationship. But it could also just be where you don't feel like you're sitting in that place of feeling like you have authority in your own life. And your soul is saying it's time to get curious, Aquarius. So let's see here. I'm going to pull some additional cards, and this is where we're going to take a look at the blocker challenge. We're going to look at the advice from Spirit, and then we're going to look at the level of physical abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in. Now, I do feel for some of you, if you have long felt trapped, so that's interesting. That card came out upside down, which I don't put reversals in my deck. So when those cards come out upside down, I actually do keep them in that way, because that's definitely a pointed message. So we have the King of Pentacles, as you can see here, King of Pentacles in reverse. Now that's your main challenge, and that really shows that there's a sense of not feeling in control of your physical experience. You may not feel that you have control over maybe your financial resources. You may not have control over your living experience. You may not have control over, again, where your work is going or how it's going. There could be a level of maybe career growth that wants to come in for you, and you don't feel like you have the ability to really kind of take that on at this time. This is also the energy of Taurus, so you may have a Taurus in your life, but it can also be where this can be where either someone is not materially focused or someone is overly material focused, because the shadow side to the King of Pentacles, so let's start and go back. The positive to the King of Pentacles is someone who is really adaptable and he has mastered how to have command of his physical experience. He knows what his time and energy is worth. He knows how to cash in on that value. He understands he's a master prioritizer. He's a master financial expert. But when this individual is in the reverse, the shadow side of Taurus is when there's somebody who is just 100% focused on money or material things. They don't care that, because kings are meant to be socially responsible. They're the head of their kingdom. They don't care that it could actually hurt other people around them, that they're choosing to do something for money versus maybe for passionate reasons, or that they just simply want to do them. This could be somebody who's actually holding the purse strings and not allowing others to enjoy the fruits of their labor. It could be someone who is trying to continually cut corners wherever they can. They want to underpay their workers. They, that kind of individual. It can be a very miserly individual. And so this could be you, Aquarius. Some of you Aquariuses might take a look at this and go, yeah, that might have been me up to a certain point. I was overly focused on making money, or overly focused on the physical, or overly focused on maybe trying to save every little penny and not enjoying any of that. It could also be, again, where there is someone in your life, or where you just feel like there is a level of physical mastery that you can't get to. This could be feeling frustrated that you can't get to a certain level of earning at a workplace. You can't get to a certain income level. This can be where you feel like there's a control maybe of where you live. You might have had to have moved recently, or you want to expand and you can't. And with the world coming in after that, this says that there's a major ending. For some of you, this could actually be where you do want to move. The world can represent moving. It can actually be travel around the world, or to a new global location. And there could be a sense here of feeling like, I can't face that with strength coming in. I can't. Either you feel like you're out of control and you don't have the ability or the skills to be able to do that, to move, whether it's moving jobs, whether it's moving home, whether it's to travel to a distant location. But it can also be too where there's a hard end to a previous cycle with the world coming in. It says it's time to celebrate. Yes, it's probably going to mean you're going to have to move on or grow in some capacity. And that could have something to do with maybe a clinging to the physical, of where you're like, but I can't just move on and play. I can't just release my tie to the physical, or I can't because I don't have a healthy relationship with my physical experience. And we'll see what else wants to come in here for you, Aquarius. But I get the feeling that it's time for you to repair your relationship between what has maybe held you back from really feeling like you're in your own power and authority, or even facing authority figures in your life, and also around the potential for either a hyperfixation on money, or being linked to someone who is very controlling and you don't feel like you have that control of your physical in your own life. Again, when you think of the physical, this is not always just money or finances, but it's also time and energy and the things around you. Again, where you live, what you own. It's time to get curious, Aquarius. So this also came out almost upside down. So I'm going to leave it that way as well. We have Judgment. Now, Judgment is when we've gone through a fundamental change, and it's saying it's time for us to step into the new version of ourselves because something in our life has fundamentally changed. We have, retired from work, and we are no longer an individual in the workforce. We have become a parent, and now we are no longer a non-parent. We are getting married for the first time, and we're no longer a single individual. We have, that kind of fundamental change. Now, when Judgment's reversed, there's a sense of not wanting to face something, not wanting to face that fundamental change, not wanting to almost hear the call. Because when you see this card, it is literally individuals being called up from the dead. It's Judgment Day. It is the old version of yourself has passed away, and the new version of yourself is being asked to come to light. When with the world coming in, this is kind of like the hard end to something, and it's because that cycle is coming to a close because you're now a new person. And that cycle closing could have been heralded by that change in your life experience. Again, you could have become a new parent. You could have gotten married. You could have graduated from college. You could have gotten retired, something along those lines. But there's a sense here of really understanding, of having the ability to reflect. So yeah, we have the Prince of Swords, which is technically the Knight of Swords in this deck. And this really speaks to the energy of wanting to share your truth, of wanting to go out there and there's a sense of speaking, of communication, but sometimes the Prince of Swords and the Knight of Swords can be someone who is a little, I wouldn't say, he can be brash. He can kind of be the person who rides in, says his piece, and then just moves on. Like, this is my truth or my opinion, and on I go. And so it can sometimes be a little bit of like truth bombing, or someone who's not willing to stay and kind of talk it out. But there could, when we're like on this side here, we're looking at the level of spirit of physical abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in. So it could be growth coming in for you, Aquarius, around how to speak your truth, around how to speak a new truth, because that's what judgment really brings to focus for ourselves, is a new truth, a new idea of who we are, a new identity. Yeah, and then we have the Tower and the Star. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. So there's something here around saying it's time to kind of speak up for yourself, Aquarius. It's time to share your truth. It's time, and it really does have to come to, for some of you, the Judgment card in reverse can be you avoiding making a major change in your life and really admitting to yourself that something has changed, that it's legitimately time to move on from a job. It's time to realize that you're no longer a college student. It's time to realize you have a family to support. But it can also be where your life, where it's almost like you're either afraid to speak this truth, or I don't like to focus so much on external people or situations, because really our life experience is in our own hands. Even if we feel like there are things outside of ourselves that that are kind of beyond our control and we are at the mercy of them, change always starts from within, and it starts with a perceptional shift. And that's really what I'm seeing here for many of you Aquarians, as a perceptional shift of stepping into a new era where you can heal your relationship with money or your physical experience, feeling more in control of it. And there's a sense of having to go out there and speak to someone or everyone or about this shift. Because once you do, here comes the Tower and the Star. This is liberation. This is freedom. This is like the whole, military coming in to say, let's save the individual trapped in the tower so that you can come out again and be free. Now, the Tower and the Star are cards that come in sequential order, the Tower first and then the Star in the tarot. The Tower is when we have built up walls around us that at one point had kept us safe and secure because we needed them, but have now become what is holding us back from being able to see our star, to be able to follow that deep dream within us that we would like to have realized. And so something comes in and breaks that wall down. Now, this could be for some of you that there is a message that comes in from someone that is literally tearing your walls down. It could be sharing your truth, but someone could even be sharing a truth with you. This could be where that significant other is like, whoa, we've gone through a change, and, I'm noticing you're struggling with it. We need to do something. It's time for us, maybe it is time for us to move on in a specific way. This could be where somebody just kind of comes in and maybe says something off the cuff, a truth about yourself. Because when we think about the Page of Swords here, this is about staying curious. And someone might deliver a piece of news that really kind of opens your eyes to where you've been holding yourself back, or where you haven't been taking action yourself in a certain way. And that could bring your walls down. It might not always feel great, but it might make you realize where you have maybe prevented yourself from growing. And we prevent yourself from growing because we are choosing to stay or hide away in that tower. That's when life comes in, or the universe or spirit comes in to save you. And it's not always pretty. Sometimes it can be where we instead of walking away from a job voluntarily, we end up getting fired or laid off. And then it's like, oh, shoot. But it opens you up to be able to pursue a career path that's much more fulfilling for you, or to realize, whoa, all I've been doing is focusing on money, and yet there's a whole wide world to enjoy out there with the Page of Wands. There can be a sense too of, a relationship change that's, it's like it's been a long time coming here, that it's time to maybe break up with someone, and then someone comes in and says, instead of you breaking up with them, they come in and say, I'm breaking up with you, and you're like, what? But it opens you up to that new relationship. So this doesn't always feel wonderful when the Tower comes in, but in our heart of hearts, we know it's for our benefit, and it is truly liberating. So keep that in mind if there is someone that comes in to share a piece of information quickly or bluntly, and it leads to this kind of reevaluation of the self. Stay open Aquarius, to what that is, because man, there's a lot of opportunity here for you to really expand, repair, I think, your relationship with the physical and the self, step back into your personal power. You're going to see a way forward. I think that for many of you, you haven't allowed yourself to see, or someone else hasn't allowed you to see, like maybe, again, a boss figure. Because we also have the Six of Cups as your secondary underlying energy, and this is making peace with the past. This is also getting a gift from the past, being able to look back at something from a fresh perspective of where you stand today, and you may be able to see something differently where you get to make peace with the past through that, and that's the gift. It can also be reconnecting to something from the past that you'd forgotten about, a more innocent, pure version of yourself, or something from the past that maybe you had wanted and were not able to go for at that point, or weren't able to integrate into your life, and now it's coming back in to allow you to maybe make this transition here. Okay, let's see what else is coming in for you, Aquarius. I'm going to pull some clarifiers, and we're going to see about dive a little deeper into this message. We're going to take a look at this King of Pentacles reversed. What does Aquarius need to know about the King of Pentacles reversed? Okay, we have, oh, I love it, the sun, true illumination of the self. For some of you, this could actually be where maybe there was, when the sun comes in, this can represent a child in your life. And this could be where maybe you're realizing that there was too much of a focus maybe on a career path and not enough on maybe children in your life, or there could be a child. Yeah, this is really, it could be maybe a child that is, let me just see what this message, because we have the sun and we have a page of coins, so the page of pentacles. So here's another page. You have 3 pages on the board. There's a sense here for some of you, I think, around the illumination of the inner child, the self, the true, pure version of yourself. And the page of coins, it's like you're going from the king to the page, which is really interesting. But the king, who, again, was maybe not focused on the right things. And the page is about getting your hands dirty and trying things in a new way, learning through direct experience. It can also be a small token, a small offer as well. This can be where you get engaged to someone, you offer them a ring, and that is the offer of a much larger, you're offering one pentacle, and that pentacle is an offering of what that ring represents, which is the life you're going to build together once you're married, and that's the more pentacles to come. But I think for many of you, there's a realization on either it's time to go out and try things in a new way. Like this could be sending out your resume and seeing who else you're offering up your skill set. You're offering up what you have to offer, but you're also realizing that you're doing it in a way that is curious, is fresh. You don't know who might look at your skills and say, actually this would be better suited for this job instead of that job. It can also be the illumination of where it's time to get curious as to how maybe you've always done something in a different way. You've always worked with the physical in a certain way. It may also be where you've seen, there can be a sense with the King of Pentacles in reverse of a real sense of lack. Because of that miserly energy that comes in, there can be that sense of holding on to dear life, to every penny that you've ever made, because you might not have any. Now, I don't see the 5 of Pentacles come out. If it does come out, that could be a running theme, but it could be where you're realizing, oh my gosh, like I just need to, instead of holding on so dearly, it's time for me just to kind of have a fresh perspective on the physical and just go out there and see what there is to see. especially with this illumination of the self. I think there's this reconnection with the sun coming in of that child that wants to come out, that wants to bask, the true innocent part of yourself. And you want to give an offering to that innocent part of yourself. Some of you, it could literally be wanting to give something towards a child. So there could have been a child in your life that is making you realize maybe again that you've been too focused on the physical, or that someone maybe has been a little too focused, a little too controlling even. The King of Pentacles, again, it can be Taurus energy, but it can be anybody who has a strong earth placement, Capricorn or Virgo, who's just really focused on the physical. Now the World, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which, yeah, Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Coins. Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Coins. There's a sense here that the wheel is turning. There's an energy, there's a movement. And it's saying that whatever was brought into the past experience for you, the past cycle, that with one cycle closing out, with the World here, the wheel is moving again and drawing you into the next cycle. So wherever you landed with the last cycle, wherever you were on the wheel is turning now. And for some of you, this could literally be a home move with the World and the Ten of Pentacles, because the Ten of Pentacles can represent a home, it can represent all of the things we have in our physical environment. It can also be that ultimate idea of our legacy, inheritance, what we want to pass on to the next generation, that kind of grander idea of what we want to achieve in the physical. But I think for many of you, there is a home move happening here, Aquarius. And it's saying that the time is now. And I think that can be difficult. That can be really difficult because there's a sense of having to release something, or having to maybe see a way forward that you haven't allowed yourself to see. And that's going to be why you're being asked to be curious, to say if there's a chance for a move in some capacity, a move to a new job that will bring you to maybe a new location, a house move. Maybe you are expanding. This could be where for some of you, if there's a child in your life, it's like saying, okay, it's time to expand. There are children in our life now, that those children need more space. It can also be where there's a realization of the legacy now has changed for many of you. Maybe you're seeing where if you were maybe too focused on money, or maybe you also weren't upholding your own value. Because that can be the other side of the King of Pentacles reversed, is that instead of the person being very firm and confident in what they bring to the table and understand the value of what they bring, this could be also someone who is not charging enough for their services, someone who has been long underpaid at a job. And there can be a sense, especially with the Emperor and the Eight of Swords, that there's another story kind of coming into play here for many of you where you've given your power away, you have not stood up to what your true worth or value is, and now you have a chance in this new cycle to really assert your own value, to step into that fully. And you might have a change in what this Ten of Pentacles represents for you, that the home, the belongings, the career path, what you want to earn, what you want to leave behind. Yeah, and then we have the Knight of Coins, so Knight of Pentacles. So this is all Pentacles. This is all about, and we have the World again. Okay, yeah, so there's an ending here with Judgment and a new plan that needs to be made. The Knight of Pentacles is the slow and steady individual. This is someone who comes to the table and says, okay, I know that anything worth doing is worth doing right. So it's time for me to get a plan in place. It's time for me it's almost like there was an offering here of a pentacle. That pentacle is the promise for more. This could even be, making the down payment on a house. And that is the understanding that, yes, it's a little piece of the larger overall cost, but it is that first little, the token that leads to more. So you could have put down a down payment on something. You could have, again, proposed to somebody for marriage. And I was like, okay, it's time to move homes and get married. It could be that you sent out your resume and suddenly you get a job offer. But now it's time to really admit to yourself where a part of you needs to be released, where a part of you, where it's time to really step fully into what has changed in your life and to build a new plan for the new person you are, for the new experience you want to have, to really embrace this new 10 of Pentacles for yourself. And again, anything worth doing is worth doing well. But this can also be too, where sometimes we get stuck a little bit in analysis paralysis, because the Knight of Pentacles or the Knight of Coins is the energy of Virgo. And Virgo can be very discerning and have an eye for detail, but sometimes too much so, to the point where it's like, it's like getting lost, you can't see the forest through the trees, right? There's that sense here that sometimes can come in with that. So there might be kind of an end to a previous overthinking or a previous plan. And it's saying, in order for you to really embrace the end of that and to move, it's time to embrace what's changed in your life, who you are today, and what you truly, as who you are today, and the life circumstances that have happened to you at this point, what you want to now work towards. What is that 10 of Pentacles for you? What is that new home? What is that new life experience? And sometimes it does just take a careful plan, but a plan that has to have one step at a time. Okay, so we have Knight of Cups. So this is for the Knight of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Coins. So the Knight of Cups is a beautiful energy of I always like to look at it as a hopeful romantic, the individual who's ready to go out on the romantic adventure, someone who wants to hold their cup out vulnerably, all their needs, their dreams, their wants, and they're ready to take that out on the open road to see who they meet. And the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Coins is a sense of independence. It's a sense of financial independence, where you really have a chance to stop, enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've got enough. But there can be where we are sitting in a place where it becomes the gilded cage or a comfort zone, where it's like, yes, we can enjoy all the fruits of our labor, but there's a pentacle in between the Nine of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles to finally achieve that legacy, that home, that inheritance we want to pass on, whatever that is for you. And so we realize at some point we have to leave the comfort zone of the Nine of Pentacles to go out in search of the 10th. And that is where we have to be kind of shaken out of a comfort zone. And for some of you, that could be this Knight of Swords, somebody kind of coming in and sharing a truth that is shaking you up, that's making you realize where maybe you've been sitting a little too long in a certain level of comfort or a certain level of stability. And the Knight of Cups can represent Piscean energy, so it could have been a Pisces coming into your life that maybe said something to you, but it could also be where there's an element of someone saying, well, this could be you, it could be the other individual, but there's a sense here of saying, let's get into that level of putting on the rose-colored glasses, getting to that level of being the hopeful romantic, getting ready to share of yourself with the rest of the world, and getting to that place of optimism. There's a true level of love and optimism, and again, wanting to go on that grand romantic quest. And I think it's time for many of you as to what that is. You know in your heart of hearts, and it could have been, this could be heralded by someone in your life, again, sharing a truth with you or sharing a message. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands and we have the King of Coins. I like that the King of Coins is upright over here. Knight of Wands, this is the energy of Sagittarius. This is Sagittarius and this is Taurus energy, and there's a sense of true liberation, of freedom. Every time I see the Knight of Wands, it's like, when I think of the tower, coming down, it's like out pops the Knight of Wands. He comes flying out, the knight on his horse, ready to enjoy life. He's the freedom-seeking adventurer. He's also the spiritual adventurer, the spiritual warrior. It's someone who's ready to go out and learn more about life through the utilization of their passions. They're ready to kind of be like the cross-pollinating bee, in that through going on their adventures and learning about maybe, whatever it could be. It could be you're traveling and you're learning about new places and new civilizations and cultures. It could be that you're simply just going out and trying a lot of things you're highly passionate about, and you're then able to kind of bring with you the lessons that you learned from here to there, and everybody gets to benefit from that. But there's also a sense too of you're able to regain control, or almost regain the throne for your King of Pentacles. There is an element of saying, you know what, I'm going to have the strength and the courage to step back into my seat of power and authority, take back my control of my physical life experience. I'm going to uphold my value. I'm going to be focused on my physical experience in the correct way, in a healthy way, in a way that liberates me to be able to work with my passions, to move my life forward, but with freedom. And that could be where, again, maybe you've been sitting on money and hoarding it, and you're saying, oh my gosh, it's time for me to leave that comfort zone and move to that new country or new state I've always wanted to live in, and free myself to really stand in my authority of I've always wanted to live there, and now it's time for me to do that. It can be that you're realizing I never asserted my value where I've worked, and it's time for me to do that, to move on to a new job, to do so with confidence, realizing I've been in a comfort zone for far too long, and it's time for me to kind of break through that and get a new job and do something that I'm more passionate about, but also where I command the level of compensation I've long withheld myself from getting. Because at the bottom of this, we have the Four of Wands. That's building a healthy foundation. That can be a marriage. That can be a healthy foundation of just something you're passionate about, something that you can that can be worked on with others as well. The Four of Wands can be where many people are coming together with what they're passionate about and building a foundation on that. The Six of Cups and the Four of Wands as your two underlying energies here. There's a sense of getting back to a foundation in the past that maybe was either something you had been hoping for and you never achieved it, or being able to make peace with the past to be able to now build a new foundation that is more focused on what you're passionate about and taking action and sharing that growth with others as well, not just yourself. Because the Four of Wands is something where there's a sense of celebration of what you're building, of that foundation is something that can be celebrated by others. So it could even be the foundation for a new business. And it could even be that maybe for some of you, you want to go back to something you used to be passionate about and build a new foundation around that. So keep this in mind. But this is the journey of regaining your value, Aquarius, stepping into the Emperor and the King's throne, and really writing your relationship with the physical. It's like kind of going from a place of maybe like not having money or being too focused on money and realizing its place in the world. But there's also this sense, I think, for many of you of kind of going through maybe a poverty mindset to realizing where you've been giving away your authority to become the master of your physical. But it's about staying curious. There's a certain level here of a lack of assumption, right? A lack of assumption, opening yourself up to kind of universal messages that might be coming in for you, opening yourself up for what others might be sharing with you, and getting into that place of childlike curiosity, wonder, and awe, as well at the same time of getting to the place to have the courage to take back control of your life in a way that frees you and opens you up for a new chapter of self-discovery and adventure. All right, let's see what else wants to come in here for you. Oh, I love it. Surrender to play. Well, there we go. There's that child at play. It says, take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. And that could definitely be the world and the the Knight of Pentacles here with Judgment. There's a sense of overthinking and maybe getting stuck in the analysis paralysis of, but wait, the plan has to be perfect. But wait, I have to be perfect before I can move on. That kind of thing. And it's saying it's time to just admit to yourself what's changed, admit to yourself how much you've grown, or where it's time to free yourself from something that you've long clung to, and it's time to move, whether it's physically moving a job, or understanding where it's time to repair a relationship with the physical, as well as the sense of freedom that comes with a healthy relationship with the physical, where you don't feel like maybe you are not free because you don't have all your bills met, or bills being taken care of, where you don't feel like you can do certain things because you're not able to assert your value and self-worth. There's this beautiful sense of just really understanding that it's time. The Wheel of Fortune is now, and it's time to move in some way, to kind of shake off that tower and have your eye on that grand star, that grand, I guess I always call it like that hope that just resides, that dream in our heart that, we might never ever achieve it, but in the pursuit of it, we will achieve our true potential. And exactly what will come to us to help us achieve that will come to us, but we have to be willing to go on that adventure. And I love surrender to play, because often when we are in a sense of play, that's when those creative ideas come to us. That's when we see something out of left field that's like, oh, I'm being curious here. I'm just doing something that's fun. And I never thought of it like that. Oh my gosh, I could try that, or I could do this, or I've been so focused on I have to live in this area that actually I could live over here and I could move tomorrow instead of having to save another 25 years because I can't afford that area. It could be something as simple as that, or the realization of, wait a second, I never considered that I could do that for a living. And suddenly it's like, whoa, go for it. Okay, let's pull, oops, I already pulled one of those. Let's pull your final card here before we wrap up the reading. What does Aquarius need to know for their final card here? What does Aquarius need to know for their final card? Sorry, guys. These cards are kind of hard for me to shuffle. It's a big deck, and the cards kind of stick together, but I do love it, and I do love that my cards come out authentically, so you might just have to be patient here. That did not feel right. Let's see. What does Aquarius need to know as their final message? Wow, well, if something doesn't want to come out, of course, they say that. Ooh, I like this. Karmic clearing. Okay. Number 5. The number 5 harnesses the energy of change. So it says, you are fast outgrowing a level of consciousness to which are attached particular wounds, issues, and struggles. As you outgrow that consciousness, these issues will release their grip on you. You're receiving divine notice that karmic clearing is taking place through a combination of your own efforts and spiritual grace from the heart of the divine. It is time for an old wound to be released once and for all. Karma is not punishment. Karma is essentially our soul's lesson plan for this lifetime, carried over from past lifetimes. It is the way we grow and develop as a soul, sometimes through challenges and sometimes through blessings. Our positive karma is seen in the skills and talents we have mastered over many lifetimes. Also, when opportunities flow easily and healing happens swiftly, there is a sense of positive karma, an easy grace that effortlessly takes place in your life. This is what happens when we are clear enough of our own past pain to have little resistance between us and the natural flow of life. And a message just came in here for some of you Aquariuses that are maybe older or who have been in a relationship for a long period of time. This could be actually repairing a relationship, like going back to the beginning and starting fresh with a significant other. So keep that in mind. It says, more challenging karma is revealed in the lessons we are still learning. These usually appear in the guise of painful circumstances or reactions that repeat themselves in our lives. The stronger the soul, the more challenging the lesson it is willing to master this lifetime. As with any education, the higher the level of training, the more demanding the work. When you are working through big challenges, it is often a sign that you are on an advanced spiritual path. Must you always have struggle in your life as an advanced soul? Of course not. As you master your lessons, you will find you develop an ability to live your life more peacefully. However, it would be incorrect to interpret a struggle as a sign that you are not progressing spiritually. Sometimes the more painful a struggle has been, the more difficult it can be to release that pain and associated memories or scars. The spiritual worlds know you are in need of divine intervention to help clear a pattern that was once painfully lodged in your body, mind, and soul. Enough of the struggle. Divine love now offers healing and freedom. There's that freedom. We clear karma by learning to trust and relax, by choosing not to punish ourselves with shame, guilt, fear, or unworthiness, by continuing to balance our efforts with a surrender into divine grace. We take responsibility for our own healing, doing all that we can, and trusting that the universe will lovingly and effectively handle everything else so that we can progress and succeed. If you have been struggling with a long-term issue, this oracle card comes as a particular sign that the universe wants to step in and assist you. Repeat the invocation below for at least 6 days and nights. Invite this healing blessing of karmic clearing through love into your life now. Now, I'm not going to read that invocation, but I can say you can directly connect to this energy at any time for you. You just simply have to let the universe know that you are ready to step into your full power and that you are ready to experience the freedom that is waiting for you, the true freedom of the self, the spiritual adventurer who's ready to get back on the road again and pushing their life forward in a new way. All right, I will leave it there, Aquarius. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your birthday season. I hope that you also have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book a personal reading to bring light, illumination, or clarity into an area of your life that needs a little of that, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading. Bye, Aquarius.